hope it will turn out to be, with the governor of Ondo State, Governor Lucky Uremison Aiyedatiwa. And on this panel, we have four of us. To my immediate right is Akeredolu from Channels News. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm Ruben Abati from Arise News. And just on the other side is Aiyedatiwa. Aiyedatiwa is Managing Director of TV Central. And next to him is Babajide Kolade Utitoju. Babajide Kolade Utitoju is the Director of News at TV Central, TVC. Your Excellency, once again. Well, let's start by congratulating you. It's a series of congratulations. First, on the celebration of your first year anniversary, 1 year in office, having won the elections in 2024. Then congratulations also to you and the people of Ondo State. This is the 50th anniversary of the creation of Ondo State, 1976 to 2026. And then congratulations, one of your, Ondo State indigenes has just been made Minister of State Finance, and that's Minister Taiwo Oyedele. So the people of Ondo State have every reason to celebrate. But let's start with 1 year in office. Now you have this agenda, our ease, the legacy of Aiyedatiwa Odiron. Can you tell us how it has been in terms of the highlights? How has it Diron for the people of Ondo State? What has your experience been like?
Thank you, Mr. Ruben Abati of Arise Television, and my brother Akeredolu from Channels Television. I also welcome another Akeredolu from News Central, and our Otitoju, Babajide Otitoju of TVC, and welcome to Ondo State. Let me thank you for taking our time to have this chat. Ms. Governor Speaks. It's been a month of celebration for us in Ondo State, the February month, which has just ended. Like you rightly highlighted, this year, February the 3rd, was when Ondo State celebrated 50 years of her creation. And it was a real festival for us. And with so much joy, and looking at the journey so far, and then renewing our commitment to the vision of the founders of Ondo State. And that, was made clear to everybody. Even in that celebration, we tried to look at the journey so far, what Ondo State have been able to achieve in the last 50 years, the different administrators, both military and civilians, the last 50 years, and their major impacts, what they've been able to do, what it has taken the state through. And for me, that is now at the saddle, taking, stock from what they have done and moving forward from there to see what we can also do by renewing our commitment. Not just myself alone, but for every Ondo State indigene. So that being said, also the month of my 1 year as an elected, the 7th democratically elected governor of Ondo State, 24th of February, and was just 1 year. And we also had that, with an investment summit to see what we have been able to do in the first year, and then what we are looking forward to deliver to the people by the mandate that was given to us. So we also take a stock at that point for 1 year anniversary. And just as we move into the month of March, the first week also, Mr. President also increased the number of ministers, and another one from Ondo State. Fortunately, he's also from the same local government, the Minister of Interior, that's Akoko Northwest, Professor Taiwo Oyedele. we cannot be, it's a season of celebration and joy for all of us. Now, like Radley asked, what has it been like, in the last 1 year? It's been a mix, of pressure to deliver, and also the support of the people that, and their patients also are working together for us. It's been a year of taking that mandate that was given to us and using the authority of the office in terms of and the resources available to actually to make life more to make life easier for the people. That is the Aiyedatiwa, so that life can be easier for the people in every aspect, every sector of the economy. And we've been able to do a lot within the first 1 year in every areas of the society, in education, in healthcare delivery, in agriculture, investment, the economy itself, education, and every area we have touched in terms of infrastructure. In fact, we have done a lot in that area, and even though some of those infrastructure will not happen in terms of completion within a year, but we've laid a lot of foundation that we'll continue to build upon as we start the second year. So it's been, even in security, which is one area that is very, very important to us here in Ondo State, because we know that it's only a secure state, a state that is safe and peaceful, that can be an investment destination. And for us, being the gateway into the Southwest region from Ondo State, especially with insecurity that is happening in the country, we take that very, very seriously. Our security architecture we review from time to time to ensure that we are able to put measures in place to make sure that our people are safe and our state is peaceful. So all of these areas we have touched, just in general, just at a glance, like you rightly asked.
We'll still get to all those issues that
yes.
And try to get more details. Yes, I think one of the biggest topics in Ondo State at this moment is politics. So let's start with politics.
Certainly. And I must say that technically you're over 2 years in office, but elected 1 year. So for a lot of people, they still see you as someone who's not new to governance, particularly in Ondo State, deputy governor, then governor. I want you to speak to something that I've noticed. So I took a trip around the state earlier on just to feel the pulse of the people, and I've been gathering just people's opinion about your time in office so far. And I wonder, what do you have to say to those who believe that you're quiet, you're too quiet? In fact, I remember that a brother of your aide, your SSA on strategic communication, had described you as having nothing to offer. So there's that perspective that people have, that is a very gentle, quiet person. So what do you say to those people? And more importantly, what is the evidence you have to show to them that, hey, this is what I'm about as a governor?
Thank you, Mr. Akeredolu. Yes, technically, yes, you can say that I'm about 2 years in office, which is right. Haven't completed the unexpired tenure of my late principal, Akeredolu, SANCON. May his soul rest in peace. As his deputy at the time, so I won't say I'm new to governance or government, if you like, but at different levels, because when you're empowered, there are levels of authority. So as deputy governor, you are there to support. Yes, at his demise, yes, I became governor to complete the unexpired term before I got elected on the 16th day of November 2024. Yes, as human, we have different dispositions towards issues, and even our characters differs, and the way we respond to issues also differ. For the fact that somebody is quiet and unassuming doesn't mean on the just at a glance doesn't mean doesn't have an inner strength. You can't come to sit on this seat as a governor, without knowing what you're doing. And the kind of mandate that was given to me by the people of Ondo State on the 16th of November 2026, no governor that has ever ruled this state has gotten that kind of figure and that spread. The entire 18 local government was won, and with a figure of about 366,781 that no governor, elected governor, has ever gotten that kind of spread and figure. That means the people of Ondo State, they saw something that a lot of people didn't see, and they are getting it now. It's not about talking, it's not about making noise, it's about what you can deliver to your people. If you want to run it, Ondo State is one of the most peaceful and safest states in Nigeria because I carry peace. I'm a symbol of peace. I'm not a brawler, I'm not a fighter, but it doesn't mean that I don't have enough strength. I action than making a lot of political noise. Yes, politics is about noise making. Sometimes the people will make the noise, the followers, the people on the street. By the time they see what you are doing, drive around the street of Akure. The people are talking about it. I don't need to be the one to blow my trumpet sometimes, but the people, whatever they see, they will talk about it. And part of the strategy really to know that I'm not that quiet the way you think I'm quiet is what we're having today, so that the world can see, the state, the nation can see that this is Ondo State governor. At least this is the first media chat I'm going to have since I became governor, apart from normal interview. But you have to have something to tell the people before you begin to assemble. Okay. I have something to tell now. I haven't been in the office. Technically, 2 years as elected governor for 1 year. Because if you want to go to market, you have to have substance you want to sell. So I can talk to the people. I haven't prepared myself with a lot of things that we have done, like I said, in the various sectors of the economy. So this is the time to talk. And I'm here to talk.
Your Excellency, Mr. Governor, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I was right here in Ondo State not too long ago for the investment summit, and I can also congratulate you on that one because I think it was a success by virtue of what I saw, the quality and caliber of people that showed up for that investment summit. So let me ask you then, because 2 years in office, 1 year, like you said, as taking the rest of the tenure of the late Governor Akeredolu, and now your first year in office. The question will be, politically, how do you want to be defined in the next 4 years? What do you want when people become governors? They know what they want to do, and they know what they want to be defined as, and they're intentional about it. What is your intentional substance that you want to be used, you want people to define you as?
You see, government or governors, if you like, covers the entire spectrum of the society. Security, agriculture, the economy, yes, power, and every other aspect of the economy, which you know. Sometimes, because you have to deliver to, and all of these aspects are very, very important for human existence. So you have to touch every one of them. So sometimes I find it difficult to say I am this in terms of what I want to give to the people, because every aspect is very, very important. Having said that, the whole, at the end of the day, the people will be able to judge that when Governor Aiyedatiwa was here as governor, these are our experiences. Let them, by their experience, let them tell the story. Let them tell the story, because I believe every aspect is it the medical sector, You have to provide good medical service to the people. Security, we are known for that already in Ondo State, and I'm keeping the fire on. I've just recruited 500 additional Amotekun personnel to further strengthen our security architecture. So that is there. But there are some areas that Ondo State have not touched before that I'm touching right now. That is in the area of bitumen exploration. Maybe by the time I will be done, I'll be able to have been able to do a lot in that area. Because Ondo State has the second largest bitumen deposit in the world, next to Canada. We've been talking about it, but we have never done any exploration. Right now, 2 companies are doing exploration at Aiyedatiwa. Those licenses are owned by Ondo State government in partnership with some other partners, companies. The exploration is on, which is the first stage of bitumen mining. That is there. Secondly, the deep sea port that we are pursuing. It has been in the pipeline for many years. Agagu talked about it. Mimiko talked about it. Akeredolu also started something. It got port declaration, even though it was a bit faulty, that I have to now pursue to get it, amended. Now we have signed the MOU with those who are going to build, operate, and transfer to the state. Very soon they will be, at the end of this month, they will be coming to be on ground fully, to break the ground. If I'm able to also build that, at least I will be remembered for that the one who turned the economy of the state around. The overall benefit of having a deep sea port in a state. The refinery, if you could recall, the current Dangote refinery was to be built in Ondo State at Olokola. But for some reasons, the discussions among the leaders at the time and investors, because Olokola then was a marriage between Ondo State and Ogun State, partnership. And then for some reason, the agreement could not hold, so Dangote have to move to Lagos. And we have Dangote refinery currently running. People have been here in Ondo State. But we have another one coming during my time. We have just signed the MOU as well. 500 barrel per day refinery coming up very soon. And they've actually accessed their fund, about $50 billion access. They've been able to access that, and they are ready to also move to site to start building. Then we have the Residence Fertilizers Nigeria Limited. They are building a fertilizer and petrochemical plant. We've also signed the MOU. These are 3 major projects that if I'm able to achieve this during my time, which, we've got into a particular level that they just need to move in and start, working. And I have 3 years left for this very tenure. And I'm sure the work they will start before the 3 years will end, they should have been able to start producing or running the port, as the case may be. So even if they have not been able to finish, but I've gotten to a point where everybody will talk about it, that this was brought by the time they will be talking about it at that time. So during the tenure of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa FCA, that we had all of this in place. I think it's a good thing to be remembered for.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ruben has already nudged us to move into politics.
Right.
So I'm going to be asking you political questions, about 3 questions rolled into one. You had your state congress some days back. How would you describe it? Would you say, the way it went, would you say that Congress has further united the party in the state? Secondly, there are those who accuse you of marginalizing a section of the party in the state, In fact, they say it openly that you are marginalizing the die-hard Aketi supporters, as if you are not an Aketi person yourself. How would you respond to this claim of marginalization? And then the final question is, at the time when you are facing those vicissitudes, 25 members of the House of Assembly signed for you to be impeached. Was there any time during that period that you felt, oh, this may eventually not come to me?
Thank you, Bajide Otitoju of TVC News. Politics is all about interest, the way I look at it. And in politics, there are diverse interests that are being pursued by different actors. For us in Ondo State, we are very, very active politically. You know, that goes to that question again that they seem as a very quiet person that could not hold fire. Yes, with a very good heart. But we in Ondo State, we have the Ondo State spirit. Every one of us carry that spirit. Very resilient, very active, and we don't give up easily. You know, we keep pushing until something happens positively. So that is in us. Talking about Congress first, before, you know, talking about division, whether the Congress has helped in uniting the party or has further divided us. I'll go, you know, I would track backward when, which you mentioned, when I was deputy governor and when I was about to be impeached. Let me take you from there because of division and you know, being united. At the time, that was when I can tell you that the party was divided because different people are pushing for different agenda. And I can tell you, for those who are members of the cabinet at the time, if the truth should be said by every one of them, it was a known fact or truth that my late principal even endorsed me on the day of our inauguration when I was his deputy, on the 24th of February 2021, when he made an open declaration which is still documented till today, when he was trying to interpret my name and was talking about how I'm going to move on from deputy governor. If you are going to move up from deputy governor, you won't go back to commissioner. You're going to move to become a governor. So that is the import of that statement. You move on from there. You know that he has to come down for me to grow and all of that. It was said, it wasn't part of his speech. He was moved and he spoke into the future, which eventually has happened now. That has always been his intention. And sometimes during our executive council meeting, you know, when he just fed up with some things and we just say, well, if I can't finish all of these, when Lucky comes, he will complete them. So openly, he has endorsed me from day one as his deputy. And within the ESCO chamber, he has also made it known to every other ESCO members that this is the anointed one that will succeed me. But some people don't want that to happen because of, like I said, politics is about interest. Some other persons were, you know, they were eyeing that office that why should it be him? Why not me? Which is normal. They have been rational. And when the opportunity came, when the governor was ill, so there are all kinds of voices. And one voice say the governor wants to impeach him. Some saying, why? What has he done? There was a division. So that was when the party was divided. Not even 25, the entire 26 assembly members signed for my impeachment. All of them. And but I survived it. So to cut the story short, I survived it, and eventually, with intervention of Mr. President, current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, I want to use the opportunity to also thank him for being a good leader to our country, with all that he's doing, all that he has done, he will still do. So he intervened at that time. We're able to, have that house put together in a way, but it didn't end there. Eventually, when my principal passed and I became governor, the first assignment for me is to bring the party together. And that was my focus, because we're going to election. 4 months thereafter, we had our primary. So I have to engage. And don't forget also, I was part of the Akiti team. In fact, I'm the Akiti legacy, #1, if you want to talk about Akiti legacy. So the task was to put the party together, which I did. And we're able to come together one way or the other, give the state barrier, and keep engaging with the people, with the political stakeholders. And by the time we'll be having our primary election, 2024, 4 months after I assumed office, April 20th to be precise, 15 other aspirants contested against me. For you to know how people desire that seat, 15 of them. And we all went into primary election. Eventually, I won. Then the task continued to bring everybody together. And then we all came together and went into the election. And we had a record-breaking election of 18 local government. And so I will say I was able to, I succeeded at the time in trying to unite the party. But because interest is always there, even when you come, the most important thing is that APC must win, irrespective. And we all came together, did the election, I won. In terms of appointments, I ensure that all the leaders, critical stakeholders, they have stake in the government, inclusivity, a sense of belonging. So when I was to appoint my aides, I actually asked the leaders to bring names from their various local government. And I also continue with the tradition of having leaders meeting, but with a new way of doing it. I started quarterly stakeholders meeting to be able to bring everybody together every quarter. When I came to power, it was 10 per local government. I increased to 20 per local government, to 30. Currently, we are running 60 leaders per local government having quarterly meeting, try to bring the party together. So that has been running. But now for the Congress, just to now zero in on your question, whether it has further, divided or united the party. The party is not divided. APC is one. APC is one. We are not divided, but interest differs. When it comes to the presidential assignment, that is in terms of election, that is forthcoming, the entire Ondo state is APC. We don't even have a position, because the last PDP governorship aspirant that contested against me has defected into our party. He's with us. So we don't have any other than APC. So for president, it is one APC. Even for governorship, even right now, if the time I'm going to run or anything, because it's one office, it's just everybody will support. It's only now that people want to go into Senate, House of Reps, House of Assembly, you have different people, for one office, maybe for Senate, Northern Senatorial, you have 5 aspirants, and having 5 different having followers that are different. So they will be push and pull. That's what we are seeing. It's not as if the party is divided. We are not. So going to the Congress, different aspirants want to become chairman of the party, secretary, and all of that. So you will see that push and pull happening. And we have gone into the Congress. We had the Congress. So the party will eventually release the result. because that has not been announced, but we had our Congress at the ward level, the local government, and at the state. So all of that has been done, but we are not divided. APC is one in Ondo State.
Okay, no. Except that many observers, commentators, members of the party will not agree with you. And that's why I said politics is hot in Ondo State at the moment. And there is no better demonstration of that than the last Congress in the party. Now, there are persons who are making two allegations. That one, that you are uncomfortable with the growing influence of Minister Olubunmi Tunji Ojo in this state. And they say that the reason that his influence is growing is that because of the people who worked in the pre-election workshop, that when people work in the workshop, they should also chop, but that you are not allowing the chop to go round. So they say you have now created a gap, allowing Minister Ojo to fill the gap. And that during that Congress, there were persons who were on his side, and there were persons who were on your side. Hence, that argument about court injunction, about people who are on the other side who are saying no, Section 85 sub 3 says you cannot inquire into the affairs of a political party. That's one leg of the conflict. The second part of it is that some people are saying that although Ondo State is not going to have gubernatorial election until maybe 2028, but that you are interested in running for election again to have another shot at the governorship position. And some people have gone to court and they are saying that no, you cannot do a third term in office in the light of Section 182 of the 1999 Constitution, reference being the fourth alteration of 2016. Those are the two major controversial issues. I would like Your Excellency to respond to
what I said earlier about marginalization. Are you bringing everybody? Can people really say that you are marginalizing a section of the party in the state? Somebody even asked me, said, ask him what is his relationship with Aketi's widow. All kinds of questions they were sending to us because they knew we were coming to you today.
No, thank you. Let me first of all say, like I said, APC is one in Ondo State. Indivisible APC. Like I said, we have different interests being pursued, and that is politics. And it's not, synonymous with just Ondo State only. Every other state, we have all these, push and pull among leaders, though everybody in authority at different levels. I'm governor of Ondo State by the grace of God. Bumi Tunji Ojo is a minister of interior at the national level, another level of authority. And everybody desire to become whatever he wants to be. The level playing ground is there for all. But the party is the platform through which, you can seek political office, either to be elected into one position or the other. Growing influence, yes, there's room for growth. I grew to this point. Some other person have to grow also. You cannot, in politics, you can't stop anybody from growing. Depends on his strategy or method of engagement. For me, I have no problem with the Minister of Interior. And I don't think he has with me either. Like I said, there are followers who are looking for one thing or the other. And they look at some kind of endorsement from one level of authority or the other. So whoever they think that can, help them to achieve their, desired goal or position, they will tend to, relate with such person. For me, I'm father to all. I have not promised anyone, even as at today, that I have a ticket for you for one elective office or the other. Neither have I said that I'm going to deny some other persons from returning. We will decide when the time comes, the leadership. I always say it. Now, you said I held on to the chop and chop that is not flowing. Some people are grumbling. This is a state. We have a way of running the state. Appointments have been given to a lot of people that some of these leaders nominated by themselves. For example, I have about almost 300 aides. I did not, yes, I announced the appointments of all of those, but they were nominees of leaders from the various local governments. There is no ward in Ondo State that doesn't have an SA or SSA. We have 203 wards in Ondo State. Some ward has 2. And they were nominated by the leaders from those. Don't forget, I said quarterly stakeholders meet of 60 stakeholders, leaders, 60 per local government. That is about 1,080 every quarter. We deliberate, we discuss. And they will also be, supported with some kind of logistics. Before I became governor, then when they come, they give them just 10,000 naira. I will say it as, for logistics, for coming. But today, when they come, it's more times 10 of that. They get like this, so, and they come every quarter. That is part of, having time to meet, to talk about the administration, the party, politics, and having that sense of belonging. Whatever they don't like, they will say it right there. And they bring suggestions and all of that. So it is not a case that one person is holding on to the money. They get salary, all of these people. We have LCDA chairmen and committee members. We have I think 51 LCDAs, apart from the 18 local government. There are chairmen, there are councillors, so the money is flowing to everybody. They are getting legitimate salary. The almost 500 aides also, they get interest, running grant, and they get their salary. So how am I holding the money? And they are nominees of all of these leaders. It is only, people will always complain. The minority will always complain. But the majority are happy with what we are doing, and that is politics. You cannot give appointment to everybody. The one you gave SA last year is pushing to want to have SSA. The SSA want to move on to become special advisor or cabinet member. He has one, he wants another. So he'll be complaining. So that is insatiable want of human nature. So it's not, they will have to look for something to say because it's about interest and having a way, one way or the other, to say something to their own benefit, one way or the other. So it's not a case that we are not allowing the flow of, we have civil servants also run to see that they get salary, so the money is flowing everywhere. Yes, 2028. Some people are saying yes, maybe that is their fear. And they now went to court that, if 15 as a sitting governor, 50 other aspirants contested against him. What do you think when they now see that, okay, there's fourth alteration, the law that is neither here nor there? Well, the Supreme Court will decide that if I didn't go to court, they took me to court, so I must answer. And the lawyers will also deal with that. That is none of my headache. If you file a case against me, first of all, without being, the court will decide that. But I'm a governor with immunity. The case you are referring to, do you call it, you're also a veteran, do you call it a pre-election matter or post-election? So why should I be taken to court in the first place when the Constitution guarantees immunity for me? It's only on electoral matter that you can take me to court. If I conduct election, maybe I win the election and you are saying it was full of substantial irregularity, you can challenge that. But Supreme Court has ruled that on my election, duly elected, and having been sworn in 1 month after, there's somebody filed a case of something that is futuristic. Where is that happening? And a sitting governor that has immunity, why do you take me to court? So all of that will be decided, because I have not told anybody that I'm running. An election is a process. You first of all show interest, expression of interest. There will have to be a timetable first by the party, and then the umpire, the INEC. All the timetable that have been displayed so far, there is no governorship election for Ondo State. Well, it's end at maybe January 26th for presidential election. So on what basis are you now taking to court, challenging a futuristic, where is the, and then a sitting governor with immunity? But all of this is not an issue to be even discussed right now. Some can discuss it because of their own intention, but for me, I don't see that as an issue right now because the election prayer have not started, so it's not a pre-election matter. I have immunity. Let the court decide what that is going to be. So I think that is what I want to say in that.
And I think you actually said it. You sort of told us that you're running because you said in this first term.
In first instance, yes.
First term. So that speaks to the next time. But for the benefit of our viewers, some of them who are wondering, what does this section 182 say, the fourth alteration? Sub 3 of section 182 of the Constitution says a person who was sworn in as governor to complete the term for which another person was elected as governor shall not be elected to such office for more than a single term. I wonder, how do you view your odds? So first, there's this alteration, section 182 sub 3. There is a Minister of Interior. Naturally, people see him as a performer. Minister of Interior, he's done some great work with passport and some other things. You also mentioned Mr. Agbolajayi, who was in the PDP, now in the APC, who was your opponent, scored 100,000 votes. So it looks like all the odds may just be against you from the constitutional bit, from the support from your opponents as well. Don't forget that there are still hungover opponents who are in the House, some of them who were against you then. So yes, we know that you're going to try to run for a second term. But how do you view your odds, really?
Don't be too sure.
No, you already said it, first term. So that
is exactly what I'm saying. Even if you have a point to run for one time, it's the first time.
Yeah.
That's
so
the first time that is the first time I'm running for election. Right. As elected governor.
Which means there will be a second.
If the law permits.
You will have said only term. Huh? You will have said only term if you don't plan to run again.
You see, the thing is this. The law is the law. I'm not the one that will interpret the law. And wait till that time when I come out and say I want to run. Then you can take me to court.
Actually, what the section 6 is that a governor who completed a term of a predecessor cannot be sworn in twice. That's what it says. Cannot be sworn in, more than twice. So that means if you've been sworn in as acting governor, and then you've been sworn in for a substantive term, then you cannot have a third oath of office. But as you said, Governor,
let the time come, they will decide. Now, let me even ask this, since you are going that way. He quoted it rightly that he cannot run for that office for more than one term, which it was clearly stated there. Then the aspect of taking an oath 3 times. You see, different lawyers will talk about these same acts, argue differently. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to go into that discussion of, but I've heard, because I'm the person in question, I've read different kind of positions of comment, from different commentators. Somebody asked a question that if that unexpired tenure is 2 months, will you count that as a term? If it is 1 week, will you count it as a term? So those are issues. Now, when you're saying taking oath, somebody also said that the oath that was taken, not as an elective, that the act was talking about somebody not to be elected 3 times. That is what they're trying to get. That is the spirit of that. So you have different, but like I said, I don't want to go into all of that. Let the law, the judiciary, they are the one who interprets the law. Let them decide if there is anything like that at that time. But for now, I have not declared that I'm running an election. There is no timetable. There is no expression of interest. There is no nomination form. That will now make it a pre-election matter. And you are going to court. On what basis? Where is the course of action in this? And also, I have immunity. You can't take me to court except on election matter. And I have not declared for any election. Where is my nomination form? Where is my expression of interest? Why are you taking me to court? That case should be struck out. Seriously.
Yeah.
You brought it up, so we need to talk about it. And you are a lawyer, so you should be able to know better. I'm not a lawyer. I only read comments of people in this one. But one thing I know is I have immunity. And I have not declared for any election.
I think with the agreement of the team, we had agreed that there are areas that we want to dwell on, and I think security is the second issue we wanted to address. So on the issue of security, Your Excellency, the last time I was in Ondo, just a few weeks ago, I heard quite a few of the members of your government. They practically were thumping their chests that Ondo State is one of the most secure place to be, because all the people that came to Ondo by air, by road and everything, they didn't need any security for them to be able to drive around the town. And even Kayode went into town, and I don't think you saw any problem as such. So if it is true that this state is very secured, I'd like to know the security vote of the state. How is it being used to secure the state? And while talking about that, I know that a gentleman called the Are Gani Adams, who is the head of OPC, had consistently said that there are challenges in some part of the Southwest. And I think he specifically, I can't remember, please don't quote me on this, but I think he specifically mentioned that there are bandits and cattle rearers who are deemed to be troublemakers that have situated themselves in some part of Ondo State, and that there is serious concern about that. I don't know whether this is a fact. You're the chief security officer of the state. Would like you to help us understand, are there such things happening in Ondo State, especially when you look at what happened in Owo recently?
Thank you, Mr. Akintemi, for this question as regards to security. We read a lot of things in the social media. I do see them too. And let me first of all say that there is no country in the whole world where you have 100%, that is 100% secure in terms of absence of crime. So there is nowhere that is crime-free in the whole world. But the degree of response and what you do when such isolation cases happen is what you use in measuring, sometimes how safe that particular community or state or country is. Yes, even though it's been said or judged by all that Ondo State is one of the safest and peaceful states in Nigeria, it is true. But that doesn't mean we don't have isolated cases once in a while, which we deal with, Like you already mentioned, during the time of my late principal, sometimes in 2022, June the 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken, we have the terrorist attack at St. Francis Catholic Church. That doesn't mean Ondo State is not safe. That was just an isolated case that we dealt with at the time. And since then, such has never happened again. to have such, massive attack, that claimed life and injured a lot of people. And I also like to mention to you today that the perpetrators are being tried right now because we caught them. They were arrested and they are facing the law right now. They are being prosecuted by the DSS. We supply report our Amotekun and other security agencies that were part of that investigation. And so, yes, we do have such isolated cases once in a while. The cattle rearer and the farmers clash, yes. There's no part of the country that doesn't. We all eat meat. We eat, cow meat, cattle. They move them from one location to the other. And the debate to feed them, moving them, even though we have grazing law, open grazing law rather, they still move their cows. They go in, sometimes they run it some farmers' farm, eat all the cassava and all that. Then we have a law that says you have to compensate the farmer, and that is being implemented. We arrest Amotekun, arrest cow, we take them in, and the owners will show up and they will pay compensation to the farmers. That is running. So we're doing that so that the farmers will not, take laws into their hands also by killing the cows. And when you kill a Fulani cow, they will come back to, retaliate because they value their cows as if they are human. So to avoid such, and they also have been cooperating, that once they violate the law and allow their cattle to eat, to go into somebody's farm, they pay compensation to the farm owner. So we are managing all of that. Yes, like I said, there are isolated cases. Just of recent, had to show. Some gun runner went in there, unknown gunmen, during a night vigil, took hostage of about 5 people, which have now been released. The security agencies have to move in and all that. So we have such isolated cases once in a while. Then kidnap for ransom. It's a bit rampant at the time, but we have dealt with that. That has reduced considerably. Where some people within inside will just kidnap somebody and they will be calling for ransom. That's also, it's not like bandits per se. That doesn't mean that there are no bandits that are trying to make incursion into the state. We always resist them. We've arrested several of them, load on truck, and then we profile them, we ask them to go back. So all of these have been happening. But at the back of the forest, if they are there, well, let them remain there. But they will not allow them to come into our state to create problems for us. So that is there because they are moving from different locations, especially with the current posture of the leadership at the federal level, the president and the security agencies at the federal level, with the new ways, the new approach to insecurity. So,
new approach.
Yes, yeah.
We'll have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll still stay a little bit more on the issue of insecurity before we move to economic, tourism, infrastructure. Well, we'll take this short break. We've been discussing with the governor of Ondo State. We'll take this short break, and then when we return, the conversation will continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Come back to Mr. Governor Speaks. And if you're just joining us, we're here at the Ondo State Government House. And our guest is the governor of Ondo State, Governor Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa. And for the past hour or so, we've been discussing various issues about Ondo State, and particularly its stewardship, since he won the election in the state in November 2024. Governor, thank you very much for staying with us.
My pleasure.
Well, you were talking about security, how safe Ondo State is, and the efforts being made by your administration. Well, if you may just continue from where you left off, and then also tell us about state police, which is also a major subject in Nigeria today.
So still on security, especially with what Kayode Akintemi mentioned about security votes. Yes, security vote is meant for security. That is just the simple answer. But when you say security, security covers different areas. You talk about logistics for the security personnel. You talk about the intelligence gathering, equipment, and all of that. You know, the welfare also of the security personnel, apart from their normal salaries, because of the kind of work they are doing. And these cover all the security agencies in the state, not just the police, not just the army, because all of them are involved. The joint task force, the collaboration among all the security agencies in ensuring that the state is safe. And in this time that we are in, security is very, very key, is major in what we do because of the insecurity in the country. And when you say insecurity in the country, it's not just Abuja, it's the states that make up the country called Nigeria. And Ondo State has its own fair share of this. And so we have to ensure, for us to ensure that the state is safe, it's a whole lot of work. And it's not, there are some of these things we cannot be divulging here in the public, or there are security matters that you know, you don't have to let out of the bag for the public. But the security people, we meet regularly, the Security Council, to discuss issue of security and how to best, you know, address some of this. So, and our own homegrown security body, the Amotekun called Southwest Security Network, has been doing a lot, and which is talking about state police. That is a version, if I can say, of state police, because the work we are doing and the way Amotekun is structured, the recruitment into Amotekun, the personnel are drawn from the various local government, the 18 local government. And when they are trained, they are returned back to the same local government to serve, because they are from there, they are resident of that local government, they know the terrain, everybody seems to know everybody, so to speak. So they know the flashpoint, who and who, issues, and all, so they can easily track, you know, incidents that might want to happen in their local government and report to the center. So that has made Amotekun to be so effective, and that is why the response of Amotekun to any crime, it has always been very wonderful, and they have been being backed up by other security agencies, because Amotekun, the way it is, they have their limitation in terms of the equipment they can carry. The law do not permit them to carry certain kind of weapon that they can use to actually defend themselves. That is why they work together with some other security agencies like the army, the civil defense, and the police that are empowered by law to carry certain sophisticated task force. Yeah. So, and once they get intelligence on operation, and they connect and then they move, and that is why we've been able to, you know, stem the issue of insecurity in Ondo State.
Synergy between them, the Amotekun, and the security part of OPC.
OPC is a different body, you know, do a People's Congress, you know, a social, non-political group. They have their own, like every other organization. It's not as if there is an MOU, an agreement, written agreement between Amotekun and OPC, but there's always collaboration. That is the area we don't want to talk in the public, because intelligence gathering, you have your people, informants, they can belong to one organization or the other, that get in information about happenings in areas. And then when they want to go on operation, we have the local farmers, local hunters rather, who knows the forest that are working, with our people. So they can engage anyone in the society that could be of help, in terms of intelligence, in terms of operations. So how they do that is known for the, operation people. But OPC is there. There is a group that has their own strength in whatever they are doing. The engagement, every man on this, ordinary man on the street can be a security threat. It can also be a security support, because he might be the one that saw something that moves around some people. Then you just engage the person and you divulge certain information that will be of help. Newspaper vendor can be of help in terms of security. They go around so just the woman roasting corn by the roadside can be of a very great importance when it comes to security matters. So security is vast, very, very. So the people in charge, they know where to go to when they need something. They can go to any length to unravel, any kind of security threat or operations they want to get involved in. So, yeah.
Let's go to education. Because you talk a little bit about your big plans for the economy. We want to know in which areas really made impact in education here in Ondo State. And then we also want you to talk about what is happening with Rufus Giwa that you've not honored your word right
now. In education, we have done some works within the 1 year or so. We have, for example, we have renovated a lot of our schools and built more classrooms so that out of school children figure can reduce. That at the primary school level, the collaboration between the state government and the federal government, where the state government provide counterpart funding, and the federal government also we access certain fund for primary basic education that is being used to build schools, to renovate schools, and then to support primary school education. We have done that. We are, in fact, Ondo State is one of the best states in that category if you check the data state by state. Not only that, we recruited teachers into our primary and secondary school. Record has it that in the last 15 years before I came on board, the state has not recruited secondary school teachers. And I came on board, I recruited about 2,150 teachers to cover the gaps. About 1,050 for primary school, 1,100 for the secondary school. Aside, we've also, our technical schools have been renovated, and like never before, enrollment has increased in technical education that before now has been very, very poor, because we're trying to emphasize skill development, being trained in the area of skill acquisition. So our technical colleges are having a new leaf right now in terms of renovation, equipment, and teaching styles, and enrollment has increased. Now, going to tertiary institution, we have increased the subvention to our tertiary institutions so that they can pay their salaries and meet other overhead costs. We did when we came on board. Twice now. When I came in before my election, I did. And then when minimum wage...
How much was the subvention?
The exact figure I don't have offhand, but I know something has been done in that area. And our tertiary institutions, they are managing what they have. And we have gone ahead also to remove all leakages and wastages by doing biometrics, accreditation for staff and all of that, because we need to be prudent in managing our finances. And let me also say that we have been adjudged at the best state in terms of fiscal prudency among all the states in Nigeria, for financial discipline, to ensure that processes are put in place for spending, and the resources are limited. We have to make wise use of them to avoid wastages and leakages. So all that has happened to the four tertiary institutions we have: Olusegun Agagu, University of Science and Technology, University of Medical Sciences, Adekunle Ajasin University, and the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic. Now, talking about Rufus Giwa Polytechnic that you mentioned, in terms of issue promises made and all of that, let me say that is a major problem, one of the major problems inherited by this administration. We believe that government is a continuum. Yes, you don't push blames. Once you are decided, you have to fix the problem. And that is why we are elected. Leadership is about providing solution to problems. So there's a major problem in Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, overstaffed and all of that. But we inherited that, and as at the time I came on board, then as acting governor, they were owing about 11 months' salary. And they have not had convocation in the last 12 years. Accreditation for courses were not done. So it was a major problem. You can verify all of this. As acting governor, then I paid the first 3 months, remaining 8 months. And as governor, I have paid another 5, remaining 3. And don't forget, spending has to be tied to budget. And when I give them money for the convocation, so that those who have passed out can also have that feeling that, okay, they did the convocation, accreditation for their courses, were paid for. Then during the convocation, I promised them that the remaining 3 months will be paid. I didn't make that promise. So if out of 11, I have done 8, I will do the 3. But they are not patient enough. And this is the first quarter. We are running this budget for this year. This is the first quarter. And I told them this will be done within the first quarter. The first quarter has not ended, so we will do it. So it's not a promise that I failed. It's a promise that has to be kept, and we will keep it. So they just need to be patient. That's about Rufus Giwa Polytechnic.
Right.
Well, Governor, still on the issue of education, there is a photo book, a coffee table book that I was reading. It's titled Lucky Strikes, and the publication is to mark your 1 year since the last gubernatorial election. And I saw that in the various senatorial districts, such a long list of schools that you had to renovate. Some of them in very poor condition, and then transformed. You see the picture before and after. The same thing with hospitals, complexes that we have to renovate. And I asked myself that, okay, in education, from what you have listed, you've done a lot. The one that I particularly even like is one school called Government Technical College, Okitipupa, which just had up to about 500 plus students matriculating, with the emphasis on technical vocational skills, something that we urgently need, not just in Ondo State, but in Nigeria generally. But the question is, okay, all these buildings being renovated, all these structures being rehabilitated. So what happened under the Akeredolu administration? Will you be willing to share part of the blame, for whatever oversight may have occurred under that administration? Because if you are doing so much, renovating so many schools, then it means that the administration before yours, of which you were a part, either did not pay enough attention, and you suddenly realized it, and you are correcting that oversight.
Let me say this. The last administration worked. I can never say they didn't work in terms of renovation of schools. Yes. Resources available is what can be used to actually do some of this work. The resources are limited and they have alternative uses. That's basic economic definition by Adam Smith. You know, relationship between the ends and axioms which has alternative uses. So the resources available at the time was what was used for all the projects. He constructed roads. He renovated schools as well. The counterpart funding for SUBEB, you know, which is the basic primary education, all that, you know, were done. Unlike now that we're able to access more funds to do more. Yes, I would say that.
So Ondo State is benefiting from the removal of subsidy.
Definitely, all the states in Nigeria, not only Ondo State, all of us, all the governors get more allocation, even though cost also has also gone up in terms of the revalue of money, but that doesn't mean we are not getting more allocation. So it's just like saying there is no government that will come to power that will not construct roads. Every government constructs roads, and it's never enough. Everyone will be building roads. Either you renovate the old, rehabilitate the old one that has gone bad, and you do new ones to add to it. The same thing, facilities over time, you know, wear and tear, if you like, you call it. So that is what is happening. Some during his time were not bad. They were being managed, but now we need to renovate them. It has gone bad as a reason of use. So those are the things that I can say happened. We've done a lot, really. He did some, we are doing a lot because of the resources available to us and the mindset towards some of these things. You know, every leader comes with his own mindset and what he wants to achieve. So that is basically what has happened. It's not as if it didn't work. I was the deputy governor. We commissioned a lot of renovation of schools. And then the areas, don't forget, we have 18 local governments. 18 local government with a lot of schools. New classroom have to be built and renovate the old one, teachers' classroom. Those are some of the things you see. Apart from, well, let me go into primary health care. It's the same thing. We renovated a lot of our primary health care centers, you know, across the state. So basically, he built some and I'm building some too.
It's natural because to whom much is given, much more is expected. Ondo State last year was top 10 states in terms of FAC allocation, got almost 200 billion naira. That's what Ondo State got. So out of 36 states in Nigeria, Ondo was top 10, in fact, number 10. And I know you're working on a budget, 524 billion naira budget, which you call budget of economic consolidation. So naturally, expectations are high from the people of Ondo State. But I need us to tie the issue of security well, because there's still a couple of concerns I want you to address. And I want to put a face to these issues. Yes, you mentioned, or I think we referred to the protest by the people of Ishiwakoko in Akuku Southeast, where they blocked the highway on Wednesday. Why? Well, it had been a build-up, but it came to a head when one of the community leaders, Ojogbara, known as Obesere, was kidnapped and killed. A farmer, Ben Daniels, was killed along Agula Farm on Monday in Akure North. Wednesday, a farmer, Adeshida Daniel, was shot, his wife kidnapped in the Sagba community, Akure South. I think you made mention of some church members who were kidnapped as well. But what we understand is that ransom was paid before they were rescued. We can also talk about the Alagamo community who was killed last month. And I want you to be very frontal, right? I want you to be frank with the people of Ondo State, some of them who are a bit concerned. Who is attacking these people? Who is responsible for these things and why? Do you know why?
Thank you. We're now, yes, you still drawing us back to security issues, which is very
tight.
Yes, tight. Yes, those cases you mentioned, like I said, there are isolation cases. These are not a bandit attack, as it were, because when bandit comes in, they destroy, they kill. For no cause, they don't take ransom, they don't do anything. They just, come in and just displace people and, like what happened at St. Francis Catholic Church. They didn't take any, not even handset or phone of anyone. They just came in and just blast the whole place with grenade and all that and left. The cases you mentioned, for example, the traditional that you mentioned, far into some remote area in Akure North. Don't forget that when you hear Akure, a lot of people think about Akure, the capital city. Akure is big. Akure North, we have farmstead that you have to travel by, not by vehicle, not by car or hillox, by bike for 3 hours to get to somebody's farmstead. And some things do happen in such locations once in a while. And our Motekun Rangers, they have base and camp in those forests. I have to say this. These are some things we don't disclose. They operate in those places to ensure that every aspect of the state is covered. But you cannot run away from some isolated case. Some are tied to land issues. Succession in terms of who owns land and who wants to be the baile of such location among the same people in the same community. That was what happened in that case. The police report is there. The other one you mentioned, a friend called other friend to follow him to somewhere. He left his food and he followed him and then was killed. That is not bandit. Those are crimes within the community. So you cannot run away from such as well. Those are some of them, but by the time they will put out the news, for some reason known to those who write out this news, they make it look as if there is a big problem in Ondo State. But the security agents have the facts about some of this. It's crime, and the perpetrators are criminals. That is it.
So no terrorists, you're saying no terrorists or bandits operate in Ondo State?
Terrorist operation has not happened after the Owo massacre. We've not experienced any terrorist attack. They will show issue that you said the parents of. I said that we have isolated cases of kidnapping for ransom. That is wrong. It's happening, but we have to engage. The security agencies have to engage to be able to ensure that those who are kidnapped are released, the victims are released, and then they put a trail on those who are perpetrating that act. A lot of kidnappers are being arrested in the state. They don't write about that on the news. You can ask from the police and from the Amoteku. They are arresting a lot of them. And that is why kidnapping has reduced. It used to be almost like a daily thing at the time, but it has reduced considerably even right now. But isolated cases, yes, some of them still take a risk, but the law will catch up on them because we will get them arrested. I can tell you that we will smoke them out of their holes.
Excellency, on that education, I know that what Kadi brought up, very, very important, and he mentioned specific cases, which is quite important that we do in conversation like this, because those who are affected, they're the ones that are yearning for us to ask these questions. So let me move very quickly. Your budget 2026 indicate that 64.5 billion was allocated to education. And Ondo State is ranked in the top 10 in terms of literacy and numeracy, one of the most enlightened states in Nigeria. And also another organization ranked Ondo State as joint 13th in terms of education. Now, all of those rankings are fantastic when you say that Ondo State is doing well, especially when you look at the amount of money you are investing. I choose to use the word invest rather than spend. I don't see the money you spend on education as a spend. I see it as investment because that's the future. So my question will then be, What are the expected outcomes for you, and how or what strategy are you putting together to achieve that expected outcome beyond just renovation of buildings and hiring more teachers? Expected outcomes being, are you creating hubs that are going to get the next generation of technocrats, the next generation of IT experts? What is it you're doing, and what is your expected outcome?
Thank you, Mr. Akintabi. Beyond brick and mortar classrooms and hiring staff in the educational sector, expected outcome is for us to produce primary school, secondary school graduates, if you like, that are taught very well and can face the next level of education. Now, preparing them at that young age, at that young adolescent age, at secondary school level, so that by the time they are moving up the ladder, they have gotten the required knowledge that will help them to also succeed in their, next level of education. Now, we've also put some skill acquisition center in place, and we have this slogan in those among the youth, one skill, not just being taught about normal, being taught just the subjects only. You need to have a skill, and we are preparing them for that as well, so that any of our youth, they must have one skill or the other. Yes, not all of them will be able to get to that point, but at least that window is there for them to be able to access. And we're encouraging them also to do that. That is why I have Senior Special Assistant on Youth Empowerment and Job Creation, and a lot of other, the Commissioner for Youth, a very young person also that can relate well with the youth. So the outcome is to produce a vibrant, educated youth. And that is already happening, because Ondo State, when they go for any of these competitions among other states, we're doing very well. And we are known as a literacy state, like you rightly mentioned. So the truth is to produce well-informed young people that will be able to face the challenges of life in their next level.
So what part of that budget is going to creating artificial intelligence hubs, robotic stations, and robotic hubs for young people to learn about robotics? Are these things you're planning for the next 3 years, or they're not in your plan and you're thinking of it as too futuristic?
The budget is not encompassing. Anytime such program is going to be organized, they present the memo and they get approval to train the young ones in digital literacy and every other ICT, courses. Don't forget, we have Ondo State State Information Technology Agency that from time to time organize programs and bring the youth from the 18 local government, drawn from some of these schools, secondary school, at least not primary, but secondary school level, to engage, and the awareness is there. And there are other development partners as well that organize this kind of training for our youth. So we have development partners doing theirs, and then the state also organizing some of this. And we also have an agency, Ondo State Entrepreneurship Agency, doing a lot of work in training our youths, even young graduates, on entrepreneurship in different sectors of the economy. I will give them startup capital to be able to start their own business. And in the MSME clinic that is being organized at the federal level, There is no year Ondo State will not get about 3 awards among the best. So we are preparing our people, our youth, to be able to engage very well and make a meaning for their lives. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about tourism and agriculture. Many people see tourism as the next frontier. When you look at what UAE has done with tourism, we have a lot of tourism assets in our country that we are not really bothered about taking advantage of. What are you doing in the area of tourism? Tell me about Araromi, for example, where the deepest point of the Atlantic in our country is located. And then agriculture. What exactly are you doing to ramp up agri production and with food insecurity in our country?
We have not done really much in the area of tourism, I must confess, but we have the mind. We are going to, this is the second year now, we have the mind of turning around, the various tourism areas we have in Ondo State. It's not as if we've not done anything at all. We have been showcasing. That's what we have been doing. I've had 3 different events at Araromi Beach, just to showcase that to the entire nation, to the world, if you like. That we have a place here, a virgin place that is looking or waiting for investors. And we were able to also do that during the investment summit. Right now, we have 2 or 3 partners that have signed with us that they want to develop Araromi Beach. So it's not as if we have done anything, but we have been able to showcase that area to the world. The same thing with Idore Hill. I think during the regime of His Excellency Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, Idore Hill Marriage Festival was a big event. But after that, nothing has been done. And that is an iconic tourist center, Idore Hill. We are also trying to do something about that. The first thing I'm doing currently is to dualize a road from Okaro to Idore, the first phase, so that it will be easier for people to move from Akure once they land into our airport to move to Idore, the tourist area. And then also the inherited project, that is Joka Road, that also leads to Idore. We are fast tracking. I think the asphalt lane is ongoing right now. The popular Joka Road that we were talking about as an abandoned project. It was an inherited project. The project is ongoing. It was not abandoned. Let me disappoint to say to viewers that the Joka Road will be completed very soon. The asphalt lane is ongoing, and it leads from Akure also to Idore. So creating different access to Idore because of Idore Hill. And we also awarded internal road that will lead to that hill, a 5-kilometer, part of the 5-kilometer per local government that we have awarded, so that the road to Idore from Akure will be smooth and will be easier for people to move in the area. All of that we have been put in place so that people can access the place with ease and have fun, Even as it is right now, record from the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism was saying that the number of people visiting Idore Hill in a day is over 1,000, even as it is right now. For you to know that by the time the place is put in the kind of the way I want to put it, to be more attractive and more convenient for people to have fun, the traffic will be huge. People will come from different locations to want to visit Idore Hill. So that is what we are doing right now. But in terms of major projects in that place, nothing much apart from showcasing and building infrastructure that will help, so that by the time we'll be having this kind of child, maybe, I don't know, let me say by the time I'll be doing my second year, concluding the second year in office, to tell also the world what we have been able to do. It will be a different story concerning tourism in Ondo State. That is what I would say for that. Agric, yes. You know, Ondo State is a leading cocoa producing state in Nigeria. About 40% of the total cocoa production in Nigeria is from Ondo State. We are still maintaining that lead because other states, you know, are also doing something new. Like Cross River is pursuing us seriously. We can't wait. We are supporting our farmers in that area so that we can continue to maintain the lead. Of recent, we gave lands to our farmers. Even though the land belonged to government, they encroached into it, and we went to court. We won the case, got the land, but have to leave it for them. But for them to know that the land belongs to the state government, but you can have it as your cocoa farm. So we are supporting our cocoa farmers. Apart from cocoa, palm plantation is being supported. We call it the red gold, you know, because we believe that aspect, that kind of crop is very, very important for us in the state and also in Nigeria, because of the benefits of that. But what we are doing is to provide an enabling environment for individual investors to invest in agric in Ondo State. It's not as if the government is actually going into it by itself. We have stake, we provide the land, we provide the security enabling environment, and the government has certain percentage from that. We have just declassified about 100,000 hectares from our reserve, forest reserve, for agroforestry. And out of that 100,000 hectares, in the area where we used to have the so-called bandits, where the criminals normally hide in the forest, we have declassified that now for agribusiness. And 30,000 of that 100,000 hectares have been allocated to Okitiukpa oil palm for their expansion to plant more trees for their palm production. And that place has been cleared. And if there were bandits there before, they have run away. So that is turning the forest into a business area. But agroforestry, because of climate change, where you just have to keep green and all of that, but it's agroforestry because they are planting agricultural economic trees that will be sustain the environment and also support the economy one way or the other. So we are doing a lot, and with other different agricultural programs like FREELA, where we acquire lands and give to some investors in different parts of the state. So for agric, we are doing very well in agric, and we are supporting that, you know, the best way we can for now, and we will continue in that stride. Okay.
It's two quick things about sustainable revenue mobilization. First, what's the IGR profile of the state, and what is the administration doing in that direction? Second part of it has to do with oil revenue. The Ondo State Attorney General has been very active writing opinion pieces in the last 1 week or so about a place called Eba Island. He's been quoting maps, quoting colonial records, archives, and all of that, all with an intent to say that that Eba Island belongs to Ondo State, and not Ogun State.
Not Ogun State.
He's saying it's not Ogun State, but in the spirit of brotherhood and friendship, two can share. I mean, what efforts, is the administration making to sit down at the table with Ogun State and resolve this matter amicably? And beyond that, the federal government also has an interest in it, being an island and all of that, and mineral resources. As the state reached out to the Boundary Commission and the federal government to see how this matter can be amicably resolved, because those of us from Ogun State, whichever way it is resolved, the two can share. Instead of Ondo State taking everything away, it can be amicably resolved.
Even Delta, I think, also dragging.
Well, thank you so much, Ben Abati. In terms of IGR, let me talk about that before I go into oil politics. In terms of IGR, we are improving, is growing steadily and gradually, but it's only when you create more businesses or when more businesses are operating in your domain, that is when you can also have an increase in IGR. And that is what we are doing to make Ondo State very, very convenient and safe for business people to come investors, so that we'll be able to get more money in terms of tax, there are taxes that will be generated. In terms of figures, before now, I think it's about 3 billion a month, but now we're moving to about 5, thereabout, an upward movement since I came on board. So that is happening. Now, coming to the oil, but the most important thing is that the IGR is growing, and we are trying to ensure that businesses are created, providing that enabling environment. By the time we have deep sea port groundbreaking, people will be positioning themselves into Ondo State. And also the coastal highway from Lagos to Calabar is passing through Ondo State, and it's joining Ondo State at that corridor, the coastal, the where we have the longest coastline. That is where it's joining, and at that time, by the time that road is completed, from Ondo State, that is the Ilaje local government, which is my local government, to Ondo State, we just be about 35, to Lagos will be 35 minutes drive. It's so close. So, and you can see people living, moving down this way, be working in Lagos, or whichever way. And more business will be coming to this area, because Lagos is already, fully occupied in terms of landed area. So people are looking for other places. And since you can drive on 4-lane on each side express road, come on, in 35 minutes, you live in some part of Lagos, you won't get to your place of work for 2 hours. So people can decide to move this area. So, and when that's happened, landed property, the price will increase, and housing and all that. So it has, a lot of benefits we accrue to Ondo State through that project. Now, talking about oil well, EBA, and all of that, the first thing we need to know is that every oil asset, well and all that, belongs to the federal government, exclusive list. But it must be defined that it's located in a particular state and a particular community, host community, and then oil producing state, where we get derivation, and the host community get their own share as a host community. Now, the whole write-up and speakings and discussions is to be able to establish location, not who owns the asset. It's clear the asset is owned by the federal government, but the location must be defined. And we need to provide information to the public and to also the Boundary Commission, so that they can verify some of these documents and statements before they take certain decision of location. So that is the whole essence. It's not a roundtable discussion between myself and Prince Dapo Abiodun. We have talked about it. Sometimes he will say jokingly, the way you are saying it now, that Aiyedatiwa, now, let's also have to become oil. He is longing to want to be part of oil producing states. But unfortunately, it's God's deposit. We are not the one that put the mineral resources there. It's nature from God, and it's located in a place. And from all you have read, you will find out that that place belongs to Ondo State. There's no two ways about it. So if Ogun has oil exploration company, they can drill in any part of the country. So if they are drilling in Ondo State, let them be drilling. But we know that it's one of those that need to be, recorded for us at Ramfac that it's on those State. We are not saying they should not drill. What is money drilling? Government give license to oil company to drill. We have Sahara Energy drilling in Omuru and Ojumole well in Ondo State. We have Chevron having some platform in Ondo State. Opakaba is in Ondo State. Sahara Energy is there. Bitter oil is what an arm of Odua Investment is drilling. Corn oil is drilling at Bella well in Ondo State. It doesn't matter where you are drilling from, but let us know the location, the state, and the host community. And that's what we're trying to tell the whole world, that this place belongs to Ondo State, not Ogun State. Ogun State has oil license, drilling license, one of their company. It doesn't matter.
Right.
They can drill from Eba. It doesn't matter. We won't chase them away, because if government give them that location, that the well we are giving to you is in Eba Island, that is where you should drill. They should go there to drill.
All right.
The security agencies, the Navy, they will protect the oil assets. So if they draft Navy to that place, we are not at war, we are not in conflict. All we are saying is this place belongs to Ondo State. Simple, nothing more.
Well, I know that the last has not been heard of this, but there's something they call, and I want to switch gears a bit, Mr. Governor. There's something they call political familiar spirits in Nigeria. So you have governors, for example, fighting their predecessors. It's a consistent thing we see. Or sitting governors fighting their deputies, or governors choosing to abandon projects of their predecessors. So I want this to link me to the legacy of late Aketi. Things around the LCDAs, for example, what is going to happen to them. I can even go as far back as some of the, industrial strides, Oluwa Glass, and all of that. What are you doing to ensure that familiar spirit maybe stops with you? And then the governor versus deputy angle. It's been said that your deputy has been staying in a hotel for 15 months, just got a vehicle of late. What is your relationship with him? Because we're hoping that what we've seen happen over time won't happen this time around.
Akeredolu, thank you so much. For me, as governor of Ondo State at this time, there is no project that was started by my predecessor that will be abandoned. I will complete every one of them. Let me just quickly say that. And when you talk of legacy, I am the greatest legacy of Aketi, because I was his deputy and he was my friend, very close friend. So there's, in the Aketi team, as the deputy, I'm the next to him, and we have other people. But like I said earlier on at the opening, that interest differs. People will pursue different interests. So, in terms of legacy, Aketi legacy lives on, and I am the #1 legacy of Aketi. Because the first time in Ondo State that even though he did not physically present when I became governor in 2023 December, he openly endorsed me, and he also wanted me to succeed him. So I can say Aketi is the first governor in Ondo that have a successor of his own. Because the statements are there, the records are there. And that's to tell you that when a governor, is able to install a successor, definitely he will carry on with the project or all that has been planned alongside. And don't forget, I was also his deputy, so I knew a lot of the things that were being done at the time. So, in terms of that, it's on. Some of the projects he envisioned that he was unable to start, I started them. For example, the Judiciary Village that I've named after him on the day we laid the foundation. He envisioned it, he did the budget. I didn't change anything. He designed everything. He could not start, he could not lay the foundation. I started it from the scratch, and I'm not taking it to myself, and I named it after him. Towards the end of this year, that judicial village will be completed, and it's named Akeredolu Judiciary Complex. So, And that is one legacy, that one thing that is so paramount to him, but it was it was a burden for him as a senior advocate to be able to build, a judiciary complex for the state, which I am building. Now, issue of the rivalry or quarrel between deputy and the principal, the governor and deputy, I don't have such. I and Akeredolu also, we didn't have that kind of case at all until when he was ill, and all the things that happened, he wasn't aware. He was not aware of all of those things. Just some things cannot be said here. There are statements he made and all that. Some people are witnesses to this, like the chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum, who is still there today, is one of my witnesses. At the time I have to ask him to help me go see him. If this thing they are saying is true, he's a living witness. That is the governor of Kwara State. He came back and told me that the man said he has no problem with me. He doesn't understand what they are saying.
What about his wife?
Well, they are two different individuals. Politics.
Do you still speak with her?
Politics.
Do you still speak with his wife?
If she called me, I will pick her call. But she doesn't want to talk to me, so that's it. Let's leave it that way. So it's a choice. You understand? It's a choice. Now let's stay with my own deputy. You said at the time he was living in a hotel. Yes, when he came in newly, yes, he was living in a hotel because there was no accommodation for him at the time. I lived in my own house all for the 3 years I was deputy governor. There was no accommodation for me in the government house. He has moved in because I have renovated the deputy governor's lodge. So at the beginning, yes, he has to wait for the place to be renovated. Don't forget that we came into power not by our own design. I came in because somebody passed, which is a natural occurrence. It's not by election at the first.
Okay.
So that was what happened. So there's no problem between me and my deputy. He's living in deputy governor's lodge in the government house. That I didn't have opportunity to, not because my principal doesn't want me, because there were no buildings. It was down. So he was not living where I'm living right now, the late governor. It wasn't because he started the new governor's lodge. I completed it and I moved in. He didn't have the opportunity to. So
we seem to have run out of time. Our time runs very quickly. In less than 60 seconds, if you can just say one or two things to the people of Ondo State as we begin to wrap up.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly say this to my people in Ondo State. Let me first of all thank you for your support, for the mandate you gave to us by that election on the 16th of November 2024 that produced I, my deputy governor, as your governor. And all our promises, we are beginning to deliver them. And we want to tell you that all the promises we made during our electionary campaign to your various local government and your community, we will strive hard to ensure that we fulfill all of those promises. I will just plead that you should be patient. We are working. We cannot do everything at the same time. If it has not got into your area, it doesn't mean it's not coming. We will be there. And also for the 18 local government road, 5 kilometers per local government, the design is ready. They will move in before the rain starts to ensure that we give you those roads that you so desire in your various local government. Safety is very important. We want to assure you that this government will not leave any stone unturned to ensure your safety is guaranteed. The security of lives and property, which is our primary mandate, we are focused on that, and it's a burden on us. So we want to assure you that we will protect you and your property as government. So thank you for your support and thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much for hosting us in Ondo State and for participating in this program, Mr. Governor Speaks. My name is Ruben Abati, Arise News. Here, Coyote Ukikiolu Channels Television, Mr. Coyote Akintemi, Managing Director, News Central, and of course, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Director of News, TVC Continental, TV Continental. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Mr. Governor Speaks. Thank you all for watching. Bye for now.